We can get back on track though. This morning at like 10:30, news broke that Desmond Bane was traded from the Grizzlies to the Magic for 4 first-round picks, a first-round pick swap, Cole Anthony, and KCP. Initial reaction to that trade, JP? Like when you saw that trade, initial thoughts?
Um, I mean, 4 first round picks is the first thing that's uh pops out to you. I mean, people were comparing it on Twitter, saying like, okay, not okay. See, Kevin Durant is going to be 7 first round picks or something like that. I think it's a little bit different because Desmond Bane's under a longer contract. He's younger.
Sure.
He's a productive scorer. Kevin Durant older. He's probably a year one or year two guy. Meanwhile, Desmond Bane is there for 3 to 4, if not longer. I felt like my first thought was, okay, this has got to be something that makes Magic fans happy because we're being aggressive with this young core that we have. And what they really lacked was this season was just an offensive production.
Sure.
Franz Wagner and Boncaro are excellent pieces, and their highlights are really off. I mean, they're insane. They're really good, productive scorers in highlight tapes. In reality, they're outside of Boncaro, they're not productive enough to be 25 plus point guys a night.
Sure.
And Desmond Bane can be a third guy that can do what they do, and now you have 3 guys that can score 20 points a night. This team is, in fact, going to kind of remind me a lot of the New York Knicks in that way, where it is going to be, at least what I hope the New York Knicks will do next season, which is be a collection of guys that can score 20 points a night, that are going to play really, really good defense. Desmond Bane can defend really well, and Orlando was a top 3 defense in the league this season. So you pair Desmond Bane with that group, you get off the KCP contract, and you get rid of Cole Anthony, who is really like the 5th or 6th guard down the list when you have Anthony Black there and Jalen Suggs and Jet Howard. So it makes me excited for Orlando and for their fan base because they see what Boston is going to go through this next season. They see the turmoil in New York. If the Pacers were to lose the next 2 games, it almost kind of feels like for the other Eastern Conference teams that, oh, the Pacers are a step or 2 away still. Meanwhile, in house for Indiana, they'd be ecstatic even with losing the next 2 games. So for the Magic fans, I'm excited for them. I mean, they're going to be a team that has a chance to be a top 5 seed in the East, and
Yeah.
given how the Eastern Conference is, especially if Giannis is shipped off as well this summer, they have reason to believe that they could do something similar to the way the Pacers did and go on a run in the Eastern Conference playoffs and make the finals, which would be huge for them, and huge for that organization. That's a win, for that organization. So it makes me excited. That would be my first reaction, was excitement for the Magic fans and a little bit of question of, man, we gave up a lot of first-round picks, especially giving up the Phoenix Suns first-round
The
picks
Phoenix
next year.
the Phoenix one is tough, and I completely agree. My first thing was like, wow, 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane. Which one I feel like Desmond Bane has flown under the radar these past couple years and is a little undervalued as a whole, by the NBA community. He's just been a great scorer. The one stat that I've seen multiple times that stuck out to me is Orlando shot like 35% on catch and shoot threes last year, which was the worst in the NBA. And Desmond Bane shot like 50% on catch and shoot threes last year. They need shooting desperately, and he's
Mm-hmm.
an elite shooter. He fits their hard nosed style defensively that they like to play. He'll get in there and muck it up. But yeah, it's a great fit, and I completely agree. I love to see Orlando go all in, and you do have to think that part of it is when they looked at the Eastern Conference, said this thing is as wide open as it may ever be, and we're in a good spot to make a move. I really, really like the move for them. Maybe a little bit of an overpay, but also as I thought about it more, like, yeah, 4 first-round picks. But KCP was pretty bad last year, and he's owed a good bit of money. So you kind of offload that money in that deal, in this move. Maybe he bounces back or whatnot. But I mean, one Desmond Bane's unquestionably better, but he was kind of the guy they brought in for shooting last offseason, and it didn't pan out. So you just kind of bring in a much improved shooter who also can handle the ball and do a lot of other things. It's a really good move. For Memphis, it's hard for me to grade it for Memphis because I don't know what the rest of their offseason is going to look like, right? Is this them admitting, well, I mean, it is, but, they're kind of admitting they can't win with this core they have, right? But are they just going to try and reload, or is this going to be a complete teardown? Is there any chance a Jaren Jackson or a Jaw gets moved this offseason? Stuff like that. I personally don't feel like they'll move off either of those guys. But also, I didn't see the Desmond Bane trade coming. So, do you think we could see either of those guys get moved this offseason, JP?
I think there's a chance, but in reality, there's no reason to because they're still really young.
Yeah.
John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. are both 25 years old. And these draft picks, especially the Phoenix picks next year, have the ability to be productive for your team. So I think you play another season. Like next season, my approach would be get Ja out there, make Ja play 60 games, see if he can qualify for the All-NBA teams. Can he have an all-star level season? And if he can, then maybe you got a chance to do something with that team next year. But if he can't, then maybe you move on.
Sure.
I feel like with their youth that like they have years to work with this, and they have years to where these picks can come in and be productive for them down the road. It's almost a little OKC like, although they're about 2 to 3 years behind schedule. SGA only being 26 this year and John Morant being 25. But that would be the path they would have to go down. I think the first round picks is a huge insurance though on that because
Sure.
if John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. aren't good next year, then you have every right to move off of them and you already have the ammo. You're not going to have to go out there and search for the ammo. So you could even bring in young talents that are in their first, second year in the league instead of just getting draft picks on top of that. Because draft picks are great, but it's not like the NFL where a first-round draft pick is a starter for your team, hopefully for 4 years. You need draft picks that are in the top 10 to find productive guys, unless you got good scouting and you can find gems in the teens and in the 20s. So draft picks are great, but in the NBA, draft picks that aren't in the top 10 are used to trade for other players. And so that would maybe have to be the path they go down, where you trade. I would think you trade John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. for other players rather than more draft picks.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible.
That's where this trade is helpful for them, is they get the ammo first, and now they don't have to trade Ja and Jaren for ammo.
Yeah. I mean, I already said I don't think they'll trade them. And I agree, kind of giving them one more year. I will say it is a little worrisome because if there's another year of Ja not staying healthy and Ja kind of having a dip in 3-point shooting and just overall like rim finishing and efficiency and production, his trade value is definitely going to take another hit. But and then you mentioned you want those top 10 picks, but I want to say this Memphis team has done a great job of drafting outside that top 10. Think about guys like Scottie Pippen and Jalen Wells, who was rookie this past year, that finished top 3 in rookie of the year voting, I believe.
Zach Edey was outside of the top 10.
Zach Edey was outside the top 10. So they've shown to have a good scouting department and a good developmental group. So even if they end up using these picks, there's good reason to believe that they can hit on some of those and turn them into productive players for them. So it's a bit more of a wait and see on whether I like it for Memphis, and I think it's a little hard because I don't love this Memphis team in general, just considering they were a 2 seed a couple years ago, and there was just so much promise, and they've not lived up to that. I feel like I've soured on them a little bit. But I think this could end up being a win-win trade for both teams, to be honest.
they really need the NBA to expand soon and get moving into the Eastern
Yeah,
Conference. That's kind of like the route that I would hope for, I think, as a Memphis fan, is let's bring in a team for Seattle and Las Vegas so then Memphis can move over to the Eastern Conference. That's kind of like the only route that they can go down because it's going to, I mean, even with these draft picks, it's going to take a couple years to really get
sure.
with the firepower that the Western Conference is going to have for the next 4 to 5 years with the Thunder and Wemby with the Spurs and Luka with the Lakers and Ant with the Timberwolves. And you can just continue to go down that list of really fun teams. And I mean, the Rockets have a chance to get Kevin
Sure.
Durant and be really good next year. And the Mavericks have Cooper Flag now.
Who knows where
So
Giannis is
like
gonna go? Like,
the Western Conference, yeah, where is Giannis going to go? Exactly. The Western Conference is not going to be getting any worse for the next 5 years.
yep,
In fact, they may even be getting better. They're at least going to stay at the level they're at right now. So that's kind of like
nuts.
you'd rather have that at that point. Is hope for expansion.
Sure.
That feels like the only hope for them because this core that we thought was going to be the future of the Western Conference is blown up on itself, literally throwing grenades into the crowd that have bounced back into them
Yeah.
and exploded on themselves.
Sure.